This is an excerpt from Not the Madonna by Allison Landa. When we arrive in Santa Barbara, we do the same things that we always do. Check into Motel 6, because dogs stay for free, and we have too. Leg our stuff up to our room and search for the Food Network. This douchebag Guy Fieri is on 24/7, Adam says, not taking his eyes from the screen. He must get crazy royalties. He's not so much as a douchebag as a dork, I say, slipping an arm around Maisie, our girl dog. She yawns and then nestles her face into my neck. Jack, the boy dog, lies at our feet, licking his crotch. You can tell he was a total geek in high school. Why do you think his hair is like that? He needs attention. Adam and I have been together for 10 years, living together for 9, married for nearly 7. We live life on our own terms, that is, like teenagers. He is 36 and I am 40. We've both achieved landmarks of adulthood, education, careers, the occasional white hair, but we consider them trappings, not what defines us. What defines us is in this room, us and the dogs. What more do we need? Adam stretches and reaches for his phone. What's for dinner? We end up at a bar called Seven, a bar restaurant called Seven, the kind of place I would have never found myself when I went to school here 2 decades ago. It's sleek and cannily lit, a panorama of beer taps against a faux brick wall. We take a corner seat and giggle while we peruse the menu. I eye a $14 black and chicken salad. He chooses gluttony, a tri-tip sandwich with garlic aioli and a $12 price tag. I would have totally turned my nose up at this place when I was in my 20s, I say. If it wasn't Sam's To Go or Woodstock's, it was for old people. He raises an eyebrow and the waiter approaches. He strikes me as a slightly more polished version of a UC Santa Barbara student, maybe a year or so past graduation. My God, I think, I could be this kid's mother. Granted, I would have had to get pregnant at 17 or 18, but it is mathematically possible. My parents didn't enjoy having kids. They did it because that's what you did, the de rigueur of their generation. My father spent my childhood hiding out in his den doing paperwork. My mother spent that time in the bathroom, smoking in what she thought was a clandestine way. We learned to be grateful for their absence. So what do you want to do while we're down here, he asks. I rattle off a list. Check out a few new coffee shops and bars, maybe cruise around campus with the dogs, go over to the Mission. Not on that list, however, is conception. It's hard to remember when we mutually figured out that we didn't want kids. It was early in the relationship, that I do know. If I say that it was as we talked while lying in bed after sex, that probably wouldn't be far off. If I believe that he had his hand on my stomach as he spooned me, that he brought up the idea of kids, and we both laughed, I imagine that that might be pretty accurate. That first night in Santa Barbara, Bobby Flay is dialed down low on the television. Dogs by our side, and afterward we lie together, breathing rhythmically. I'm just about certain that that's when it happened. They say that conception is a battle, a race, fought and won by the fittest. Neither Adam nor I are athletes, and I can't imagine his sperm wouldn't stop to take a beer break every so often. Instead, here's how I picture it. The sperm stumble out of the gate. Half of them are hung over. They trip over one another, elbowing the competition half-heartedly. A few lie down just a few paces in, breathing heavily, like bulldogs asked to run the 5-minute mile. Others go on gamely, minuscule beyond minuscule drops of sweat tumbling down their not yet formed foreheads. One sees what it thinks is an ice cream stand. Really, it's just some tissue, and veers off course. Eventually, the others drop out, except for one. That's the one who's the most lively and arguably the bitchiest. It's charmingly bitchy, though, the kind you want to hate, but they make you laugh too hard to follow through. It's racing against the only other contender who drops out to smoke a joint somewhere along the fallopian tube. It stops to consider bumming a puff, but instead just books it for that destination. Egg, here we come. Burrow, snuggle. I don't feel so good, I say. It's 2 days later and we're eating a Cajun breakfast. I knew it, Adam says. Those nasty drinks you love so much are catching up with you. Espresso bitters aren't for everyone, you know. No, I say, it's something different. I'm 40 years old. I've had all kinds of nausea. There's something about this unease, though. It's not just the fact that it feels buried deeply into my cells. It's the randomness of it all. There's no reason I should be feeling this way. In fact, these days I feel better than I ever have in my life. It's hard to put into words, I say. It's just something. I glance at him, envying his coffee. After the weight loss surgery, I'm forbidden from drinking and eating at the same time, something to do with limited stomach capacity. There's a whole sheaf of rules that goes along with having had this procedure. I'm not good with structure. My best days are the unscheduled ones. I think I'm going to hurl. I find my way to the bathroom. I hang over the toilet and feel the room spin. After a minute or two, my vision clears. False alarm, I say, retaking my seat on the stool. What's going on? I don't know, I say. You know that I'm queasy sometimes after the surgery. Yeah, but you rarely puke. I didn't puke. Well, okay. You want some grits? There was a picture of us on State Street that we took maybe 15 minutes after that breakfast was over. I'm wearing Jackie O sunglasses and a big grin. Adam's blue eyes catch the camera perfectly. We seem to shine in that way of memory, except the actual experience was just as good as what remained of it afterward. I was pregnant then. I'm convinced of that now. I was pregnant when I put on the silver hoop earrings and matching necklace that I wear in that shot. I was pregnant when I looped my red shoulder bag across my body. Implantation occurs when the fertilized egg attaches itself to the uterine lining. The stubborn little one, now known as a conceptus, fuses itself to its mother in search of oxygen and nutrients that allow it to grow. This, I imagine our little zygote-to-be did with alacrity, judging by the number of times I find myself bent over the toilet in subsequent days. Thank you.